Hi everyone, welcome to Rain Francis Art for Kids. My name is Rain. In this series, Nature and the Universe, we draw everything that's in nature and everything that's up in the skies. So let's begin. Today I'm going to show you how to draw this little mushroom house. So let's begin. This is what you'll need for today's drawing lesson. You're going to need a piece of paper. I have a dollar store drawing pad here. It's 8.5 by 11 inches wide. You're going to need a pencil, an eraser, and if you have an old dollar store paintbrush lying around that you haven't used for paint, you can use this to wipe dust off of your page. It doesn't have to be dollar store, that's just where I bought this one. And we're going to need some color. We're going to need red, yellow, brown, blue, and a couple of greens. I have a light green and a dark green. If you only have one green, that's perfectly fine. And you can use, if I can find it, a black coloring pencil, or if you have a fine tip black marker. See, fine tip just means it's a small tip. I like to use that, but if you don't have one, you could definitely use your black coloring pencil. So let me clear off this workspace so that we can draw our mushroom house. This is a fun little drawing today. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is draw the stump of the mushroom. Now keep in mind the space that you have, okay? So I'm about halfway down my page, and I'm going to draw a big fat stump like this. It almost looks like the shape of a bell, or maybe a squash or something. Okay, so now about here, I'm going to draw the top of the mushroom, and it's just a big circle, like that. And we want to draw the inside of the mushroom. Watch how I do that. There we go. So that's our mushroom. Now we're going to add a little bit of detail. We want to add some circles to this part of the mushroom. And some of those circles are going to be like this. They're going to be kind of half circles at the edge. So you can put as many circles as you want. We're going to be coloring in these circles yellow. If you want a lot of circles, you can put a lot. Or you can just put a few. It's really up to you how many you want to put in. I'm going to put a lot of circles. There we go. Now for this underneath part of the mushroom, if you think about a mushroom, usually you see some lines. They kind of go out like straight lines, like this. We're going to do that across the whole inside part of the mushroom underneath the top. There. It's already starting to look like a mushroom. Now what we're going to do is add a circle right about here. This is going to be the window. So it's kind of a big circle. Okay. Now watch what I'm doing. I'm just drawing another little circle on the inside, like that. And we want to kind of make bars of the window. So I want you to watch what I'm doing. I'm doing two little lines, almost like a rectangle, two on the bottom, two on the sides, on each side. Okay, so that kind of, then we can join our lines in here. And that kind of makes it look like a window. All right, so now let's do the door. We're going to have a big round door. Just like a semicircle. And we're going to do the same thing as here. We're going to draw the same shape around it, because that's going to be kind of the door frame. And every door needs a doorknob. Just a little circle, just like that. Okay? Now this little mushroom house has a nice little bit of grass around it, so watch what I'm doing. I'm just doing a little squiggly-ish area. Around like that. And on each side of the house, we're going to draw a few flowers, just little flowers. One little circle, and then kind of a flower around it like that. I'm going to put one here, and one here. Because this is like a little fantasy mushroom house. Probably a fairy lives in there. And fairies do like flowers. So we're going to put flowers on the grass. There. Now we have our mushroom house all drawn up. I'm just going to do a little erasing because I don't know if you can see it, but I put a pencil mark in there and I just want to get rid of that. There. No big deal. So why don't we start with our yellow? Let's put everything that needs to be yellow, let's color that in. All of the circles in the mushroom are going to be yellow. And the inside circle of the flowers are going to be yellow. Okay? So let's begin. If you're using coloring pencils, please don't press down too hard, okay? You don't have to, because we're going to go in and we're going to color it in a second time, and that's where we're going to get our nice color. You can always use crayons, you can always use markers. Markers would look nice with this. And if you are using coloring pencils, I want you to turn your pencil once in a while. Turn it once in a while so you don't wear it down all on one side, okay? So I'm just filling in all of those circles with yellow. Now, my mushroom is going to be red, but you can choose any color you want. Could be orange, could be blue, could be purple. But I think that the circles in the mushroom will look really nice yellow. You could always leave them white too. Red and white looks good together. Are you remembering to turn your pencil once in a while? This is a fun little drawing that we're doing today. Today, for me, it's a Saturday morning, and I love Saturday mornings. I live in the country, and today it's a nice sunny day. We're still winter here, but I love the sunshine. And this drawing is reminding me of the spring. Can't wait for the spring. All right, I'm going to do the little circles in the flowers too. How are you guys doing? So now what we're going to do is we're going to color in a second layer of yellow. A second layer just means you're coloring it in a second time. And you're going to see the difference. And don't press down too hard because you don't have to. I think you can probably see the difference already between 2 layers and 1 layer, right? That's why I told you don't press down too hard, because we're going to add more color after. And if you want, you could add 3 layers or 4 layers. But that's the art term for coloring it in a second time. You're adding another layer of color. And you can just keep adding layers until you get the color that you really, really want. I think adding layers makes it look so nice. Look at how vibrant that yellow is. You know, look at these compared to those. You can see right away. Are you remembering to turn your pencil? Try not to get any yellow outside the lines, but if you do, it's no big deal. We're going to cover that with red. Another reason I don't want you to press down too hard is because if you press down too hard, your hand will get tired. And if your hand gets tired, then it's no fun drawing, right? This is supposed to be for us to relax and practice and learn and have fun. Art is fun. I love it. Don't forget to turn your pencil. Oh, I love how this yellow is looking. Isn't it nice? It really, really reminds me of, well, it actually reminds me of summertime. Nice yellow colors. All right. Now, I don't know if this is happening to you, but I'll tell you what's happening to me right now. Because I've been leaning my hand on my page and pulling it, I have a little bit of pencil on the side of my hand, and it kind of smudged a little bit. It's not that big a deal because we're going to add color, but I don't want to bring all that smudge, so I'm just going to erase my hand. Believe it or not, you can do that. If you get pencil mark on your hand, you can just erase it off. Just get all that dust off. And I'm going to erase those little smudges on my page too. Does that happen to you when you're using pencils and you're coloring? Your hand kind of smudges everything? There's a simple way to deal with that, actually. You can just take a piece of paper towel and put your hand on that as you're moving across your page. That way you won't smudge your pencil. I always do that when I'm using charcoal pencils and other graphite pencils when I'm doing other drawings. Either that or I take a piece of wax paper because you can see through the wax paper if I want to see what I'm doing, you know. But paper towel works well too. There we go. 2 layers of yellow, and we've got some nice vibrant yellow color. So the next color I'm going to choose is my red. And I'm going to draw in everything that's red. I'm going to color all that in. So I'm basically coloring in the top of the mushroom red. Not this area. This area is going to be brown. So I'm just coloring in the top red, and then we'll do some details on the door and the window after. So here I go. And remember, don't press hard because we're going to do another layer. We might even do 3 layers of red. We'll see. And don't forget to turn your pencil once in a while. Try not to get any into the yellow if you can. This is a good practice for you for patience and for paying attention to detail. Because we have a lot of circles. Well, I have a lot of circles. I don't know how many you put in, but there are a lot of circles here. So we're going to be careful not to get any red inside the circles. If it happens, it happens. But let's try to pay attention to detail. Try to concentrate on what you're doing. And turn your pencil once in a while. I'm here to remind you to turn your pencil. Sometimes I forget. There we go. So who do you think lives in this mushroom house? You think it's a fairy? Or maybe an elf? No, elves, do they live in trees? Elves live in trees. I'm totally making this up. I have no idea where they live. Fairies live in flowers and mushroom houses. And I think dwarfs, if we Think of the Lord of the Rings. Dwarfs live in caves. Oh yeah, that's true. The elves in Lord of the Rings, they lived in the forest, in the trees. I don't think there were any fairies in the Lord of the Rings, were there? Don't forget to turn your pencil, my friends. And if you are using crayons, you could turn your crayon too, because you don't want to wear down your crayon on one side. Because if I remember correctly, they are difficult to sharpen, if you can sharpen them. I just have to move my chair. Sorry about that noise. I just remembered I had to turn my pencil. What about you? Now, I want to show you something. You can turn your page. You don't have to keep it flat in front of you. You can turn it upside down and turn it sideways. And you know, if it's easier for you to color it in that way, I just like to keep my page, you know, upright so that you can see it. Let me stand up, make sure I got it right here. But yeah, feel free to turn your page around to make it easier for you. When I'm not filming, when I'm doing drawings on my own without filming them, I switch my pages around all the time. I turn them this way and that way, even when I'm painting sometimes. Except for when I've taped my page down, then I can't really turn it. But now what I'm doing is I'm moving around my chair so that I can get a good angle. But I want you to feel comfortable when you're drawing. I'm turning my pencil. I don't know if you can hear it, but as usual, my dogs are snoring in the background. I've said this before, every time I start drawing, it's so relaxing for me. They feel that relaxing energy and they fall asleep. All right, so I've got my first layer of red on my mushroom. I'm going to go ahead right away and put a second layer of red. And I'm not pressing hard at all. But you can see the difference already, can't you? 2 layers, 1 layer. I'm not sure, but I might put a third layer because red is a little tricky. You need a little more red to get it to make it nice and vibrant. And because I don't want to press down hard, I might add a third layer. We'll see how it looks at the end. Don't forget to turn your pencil. Have you ever seen a red toadstool? They're so cool. I haven't seen any lately, but I remember seeing some a couple of years ago. They look so pretty, but they're not for eating. I think a lot of the things that we find in the forest, we probably shouldn't try to eat. But they're definitely pretty. Look at that, 2 layers, 1 layer. Love it. I'm turning my pencil. How are you guys doing? How is your mushroom? Do you like the colors? Are you being careful not to get any of that red into the yellow circles? This is looking good. Okay. Next time you're out in the summer, and if you go into the forest, or even into a field, and you see some mushrooms, I want you to look at them. See what they look like. Or even if mom and dad buy some mushrooms for dinner, take a look at what they look like, their shape, their color, the texture, all the lines, and try to draw it on your own. Try to see where it's dark, where it's light, and see if you can draw it. That's a good practice, you know, if you look at something in real life and you draw it or paint it, it's a good practice for you because you get to see what something really looks like, and you train your brain to draw it, to learn how to draw from what you see. Now this is just a fantasy here because we don't really see mushroom houses, do we? It would be nice. But try to do that next time you see a mushroom. If you go outside, bring your drawing pad with you and bring some pencils and just do some sketching outside. That'll be fun. Now I think what I'm going to do is add a quick third layer. Yes, I'm being picky, but I want it to be a little more vibrant. And like I said, quick layer. I'm not going into too much detail here. I'm just going to be careful around the yellow. How about you guys? Are you guys doing a third layer too? You might be okay with your second layer. I just feel like doing a third layer. That's the trick to colors. Layers. One of the tricks. Are you remembering to turn your pencil? Because I forgot. There's just a slight difference between 3 and 2. It makes the red a little more vibrant. We are using a lot of color here. I might have to stop and sharpen my pencil. But I am remembering to turn it as I go. And I hope I don't have to sharpen it before I finish this. This is looking great. Oops, I got a little red there, no big deal. How are you guys doing? Did you get your mushroom top done? Now what we're going to do next is, I don't think I have to sharpen, but if you have to, go ahead and stop and sharpen. I'm going to color in the window frame, the circle, and that little plus sign. That's all going to be red. And for this, I think I'm going to do 2 layers. I'm going to see how it looks. I'm going to do a second layer. I was kind of putting in a second layer the first time too. I was kind of going back and forth. That's like, you know, probably did like 5 layers. But it's a nice dark red. That's what I was looking for. Now the frame of the door and the doorknob are red too, so I'm going to color those in too. Don't forget to turn your pencil. I think this would look really nice with markers too, because markers are really, really vibrant colors. Okay, I'm going to add some layers to the red, just until I'm really happy with the color. All right, that is looking nice. What a welcoming door. There, I am done with my red. Awesome. Let me wipe off my page here. Now the next thing we're going to work on, we're going to use our blue color. Now the blue is going to be the inside of the window, the whole door, and the little flowers. Okay? So let's go ahead and do that. The inside of the window, because it's probably reflecting the sky. And I'm sure it's a beautiful blue sky today in the fairies' mushroom house. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put a second layer of blue in there, just to make it really, really stand out. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, I love layering. All right. Now I'm going to do these little flowers. I'm just coloring in little circles. And I'm going to go ahead right away and put a second layer on there. And don't forget to turn your pencil. This pencil is getting really short, isn't it? I'm going to have to figure something out. There, second layer, done. Actually, I'll show you. These things here, they're called pencil extenders. This is my green color. It's really short too. But if you put it inside the pencil extender and then you tighten it, you can use it as a long pencil, and it makes it a lot easier when you have short little pencils like this. So I'm going to have to find myself another pencil extender for this blue. Can you see the difference between 2 layers and 1 layer here? 2 layers is so much better. So I'm going to go and put 2 layers in here. There. While I'm here, I'll do the door. Let's make that door a nice bright blue. Turning my pencil. And I'm just being careful not to get any blue into the red. Don't worry if you get some blue in there, it's not a big deal. But let's just try not to. Oh, I forgot to put my paper towel down and I'm getting pencil all over my hand again. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put in a second layer of blue into the door. Turning my pencil. We're doing a lot of detail work today, aren't we? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put in a third layer. A nice third layer of blue. There we go. Nice and vibrant. Now lastly, we're going to do these 2 flowers blue as well. Turn your pencil. Okay, and I'm going to put in a second layer. All right, this is a lot of fun. We're getting close to finishing. Actually, we aren't. We're about halfway through, but we got the big stuff out of the way. So why don't we work on our brown now? What we're going to do is we're going to color in this whole area here brown and the rest of the mushroom stem brown as well. Okay, so let's just go very lightly with the first layer of brown, turning our pencil once in a while, and let's try not to get that brown outside of the lines, okay? And if you're out in the summer, if you're in the woods, keep your eyes peeled for mushrooms, because sometimes you might see what's called a mushroom ring. I drew a mushroom ring one time. If I can find the photo of the drawing, I'll put it up now. A mushroom ring, if you think of fairy tales and folklore, a mushroom ring is where fairies were and they danced. They danced inside a mushroom ring. And when they are finished dancing, they leave the mushroom ring and you can see it. So that's a little bit of folklore for you. If you see a mushroom ring, then you know that there have been fairies there who've been dancing all night. Isn't that cool? I love that little bit of folklore. I'm just being very careful not to get any brown where it shouldn't be. All right. That's my first layer. And I'm going to go ahead and put in a second layer, okay? And I think 2 layers will be enough here. Turning my pencil. I used to make meringue mushrooms. Usually I make those around Christmas time because I make what's called a Yule log cake. Here's a picture of that. And I always make little meringue mushrooms, and the part underneath the mushroom, I dip it in chocolate to make it look brown. It's really, really yummy. Don't forget to turn your pencil once in a while. You can see the difference, eh? 2 layers, 1 layer. Now, if we wanted this to be really, really dark brown, we would put a 3rd layer or maybe a 4th layer, but I don't want it to be dark brown. I just want it to be kind of the way it looks right now, a little bit of a light brown color. Turn your pencil. There we go. Now I'm just gonna go in and fill in a few areas that I think I missed on the 2nd layer maybe. Just so there's not so much white showing through the mushroom. Okay, so we're done with our brown color. Now let's take our light green color and let's fill in the entire grass area here. Okay? And once again, don't press down too hard. And don't worry if you go outside the line a little bit, okay? Because we're going to use dark green and we're going to go around the outside. Just be careful not to get any green into the flowers. If you get some into the mushroom, it's no big deal because the brown is a little darker than the green. But let's just try not to get any into the flowers. Turn your pencil once in a while and don't press down too hard. Let's just enjoy this. We're going to definitely put a 2nd layer of green in there. Like I said, don't worry if it gets into the brown. Just be careful not to get it into the green or into the blue of of the door or of the flowers. Turning my pencil. All right, there's my first layer. Now I'm going to go ahead and put in a second layer. I'm going to color it in a second time. Being careful around those flowers. And I'm turning my pencil. You can see the difference already, eh? Can you see that on your drawing too? Can you see the difference between one layer and two? And remember, if you want, you can put in a third layer. It's all up to you. It's your drawing and you should enjoy what you're doing. Use the colors you want, but don't forget to turn your pencil. That's one thing I don't want you to forget. Because, you know, if it wears down all on one side, then the tip breaks faster and we have to sharpen it more and it wears down quicker and then we have to buy more and everything's expensive these days and we want to save money. So let's try to keep our art supplies for as long as we can. Okay, now I'm going to take the dark green and I'm just going to put a little bit around the entire area here of that light green. And I'm not doing anything in particular, just kind of turning my pencil. Just doing a little outline, I guess, with dark green. Don't forget to turn that pencil. Okay, I'm going to put a second layer in. I'm going to color it in a second time, just not with too much detail, just to get it a little bit darker. There we go. All right, now we're just going to add some final details. So I want you to take your black marker with the thin tip or a black coloring pencil, okay? And we're just going to do some outlining. I want to outline basically the whole mushroom with this black. And this is good for you to practice. Why don't I put this down here so I don't get anything on my hand? It's good for you to practice for details. And if, like I just did, if you go a little bit too much over, you can just fill in color, okay? Don't worry about that. There. But I want you to take your time and outline the entire mushroom. And we're going to add a little detail after we outline. Now I'll leave it up to you if you want to outline the circles too. I'm going to, because I just love the way it looks. And I've spent so much time making a very nice drawing here. I want it to look its best. So I'm probably going to outline everything. everything. Because I think it's going to make the little details stand out a bit more if I outline everything. And like I said, this is a good practice for you to pay attention to detail and be patient. Doesn't that look a little bit better? So like I said, I'm outlining everything. Oh, I have to be careful here. There. And those lines too. Remember all those lines that we drew? I have to move my chair over. Sorry, I bumped my camera there. I'm going to draw in all of those straight lines. Just so that we can really see them. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to continue outlining the mushroom. I don't think I'm going to outline the flowers or the grass or anything like that, just the mushroom. There we go. Now I'm going to outline the window and the door. If you know me, you know I like to outline. I'll leave it up to you how much you want to do for outlining. I just want it to really, really stand out. There. And now the door. The fairy door. There we go. I think it looks pretty good. Now, my friends, don't forget, I want you to always sign your work. I want you to put your name on your work of art and be very, very proud of the beautiful mushroom house that you just drew today. I really hope you enjoyed this lesson, my friends. And remember, Mom and Dad, if you post your kids' art on Instagram, don't forget to tag me. I would love to see their drawings. The link is in the description below or in the About section of my channel. So we'll see you next time on Nature and the Universe. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.